All right, you're listening to the Beach Brothers Show. You're watching the Beach Brothers Show, and it's time for the Beach Brothers Show. How's everybody doing today? Time to get it really beachy. Time to get it really beachy. Hey, I'm Seiko Varner. Below me is my good brother Jose Cruz, and below Jose is our good brother Conrad Chesvinter. All right, you can see some signs behind Conrad. We'll have to talk about what that means in a few seconds. Uh, Today we're going to have a really beachy show. This is going to be one for the beaches. Don't you think, gentlemen?
Quite beachy.
Okay, quite beachy. I say. All right, good stuff. So, the Beach Brothers show is where we get really beachy. And so, Seiko Varner is the producer. Conrad is the person who does our booking for the show. So if you're interested in getting booked on the show and you want to get beachy with us, then get in contact with Conrad. And if you'd like to have your business highlighted, then get in contact with Jose Cruz. He's the person that does our business highlighting. Okay. So who do we have on the show today?
Well, great evening, Beach Brothers Show viewers. Welcome to another beachy broadcast discussing Virginia politics and business. I'm Conrad Chesvin. I'm running for Rose Hall seat in Virginia Beach City Council. Before I introduce the guests, I just want to reiterate that I am pleased on being recommended by the Virginia Beach Democratic Committee for your vote this November. They see even better for Virginia Beach. And just remember what even better is. An even better Virginia Beach is voting for supreme flood mitigation. An even better Virginia Beach is working for more efficient transit. An even better Virginia Beach is voting for more affordable housing. An even better Virginia Beach votes towards soundly funded school budgets. An even better Virginia Beach embracing technology from new data centers, ushering higher wage jobs. An even better Virginia Beach works to make Wi-Fi available citywide. An even better Virginia Beach works toward wide-ranging social equity, filled with communities trusting law enforcement more, and a voting system that makes representation stronger. I want Virginia Beach to be even better. That's why I'm your Rose Hall candidate for Virginia Beach City Council. And our guest tonight wants even better for Virginia Beach, too. She's Alasha Bennett, the founder of the Bennett Center. The center is a nonprofit center on helping those experiencing economic challenges build a sustainable plan for the future. The center is only 4 years young, but has given away over 800 backpacks around Hampton Roads, Christmas gifts to families in need, provided supplies for displaced families, and helps young entrepreneurs start their own business. Alasha Bennett's aim with the Bennett Center is to close the gap of poverty in urban areas within Hampton Roads, bring the family structure back together, give young entrepreneurs the tools to increase the success of self-sufficiency. And we love the fact that she's on tonight because we love to talk about politics and business. So, Alasha, we'll begin by asking, what put you on your path here in the 757?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me, Beach Brothers. I always love to talk about what I'm doing in the community to get people on board, to get them active and moving. And, you know, we're always saying we want our community to be better. And so when we have opportunities to do that, we want to do just that. So thank you for having me on this evening. So your question was, what put me on the path in 757? What, got me starting my own nonprofit and being a founder and wanting to do great things around not only Virginia Beach, but Hampton Roads. And, my story is a very common one, growing up in urban areas and being on social services and government assistance and those types of things, and really wanting to break free of poverty and have my children and family break free from poverty, and how hard it is to do that. And so I wanted to be able to help those that I have a good connection to, knowing what they've been through, helping them get that step hold out of poverty that not many often do. You have those stories of those prodigies, those basketball prodigies, or that one or two that got out, but you don't have too many of those stories. And so I want those stories to increase. I want to change whole neighborhoods. and make them self-sufficient. I know that the government would appreciate that, but more than that, these families are breaking generational cycles of being in poverty, and I want to lend a hand in doing that.
Okay. Now, the introduction mentioned backpacks over 804 years. We would like to assume that is still a function. So are there any important drives, important dates for drives or contact information?
Absolutely. For the last 4 years, the Bennett Center has gone to various cities and helped even other organizations provide backpacks and supplies to our children. Because of course, without education, where would we be? So over the past 4 years, like I said, over 800 backpacks. This Saturday, in fact, August 22nd, we will be having a backpack drive. It starts at 9 a.m. It's actually a drive through this year because we want to make sure that those who are coming for backpacks are being safe. We're practicing, social distancing. We'll have PPE, we'll have supplies and those things. So all you're going to do is just pop open your trunk. We'll put that backpack right in, and then you can drive off. It really is that simple this year. But it's going to be at Mr. Rogers Windows. They have a location right across from Greenbrier Mall and Chesapeake Eden Way. And we'll start there at 9 a.m. Come pick up your backpack and drive away.
All right, great. Good stuff.
Yeah, Mr. Rogers Windows.
Exactly.
Exactly. A fixture here in the Hampton Roads area. That commercial has been really a fixture. It looks like Smith Britnell, or maybe Britnell Smith, I don't know, says the best resource is someone who has been there. I can dig it. Do you really think that you have to have been there to help or to be the best resource? What are your thoughts on that? Thanks, Britnell, for the comment.
I don't think not to be the best resource. I think empathy goes a long way. But when you have a special connection or passion for what you're doing, it's definitely going to come over a little bit differently than someone who is just, doing philanthropy work. There's nothing wrong with that. We welcome those who want to help the community, being that they've never been in that position. But when you have a special connection to what you're doing, it feels just a little bit different. There's a connection there that's not, that others can't relate to. You want to be able to relate to that person's situation, because when you can do that, you give them hope.
You know what? I used to think that. I used to think that. I do think that it's very helpful. I do think that a person has an ability to help in ways that an untrained person or unexperienced person has not been able to. But over the years, I think I've kind of moved away from thinking that you had to walk in a person's shoes to be able to be helpful to them. But that's interesting. I'll take your point.
You don't have to walk in their shoes. Like I said, you love for people to have empathy and, be able to say, hey, I never grew up like that. And I don't like that, there are people who are in my backyard or not that far from me, or that are people that are just hurting. And I don't want them to experience that. So I want to lend a hand. But, it's a special connection when
okay.
It's a special connection when you actually have been through that situation. And so you can give that person hope. Whenever you have someone that's gone through something and then they say, but this is where I am now, it just feels a little different.
Yeah, I would agree. It does feel different. It does feel different. And, speaking of community service and helping, I help with the Hampton Roads Committee of 200 plus men. And, we transform lives and communities, highlighting leadership, integrity, commitment, passion. We work on becoming really great role models. So we're kind of interested, I'm personally interested in your communal efforts on leadership and role modeling. So I know you had something called the Kids Expo. So tell us about the Kids Expo, how you help build it, how, children or kids or young folk, young people can get involved and help, and how can, corporations help what you're doing with the Kids Expo?
Absolutely. I'm so glad you're talking about it. This is one of, the big initiatives that the Bennett Center is doing is to get um, folks out of poverty generationally. And we like to start with our young folks, because our young folks inspire their parents and their grandparents to do the same. So the Kid Expo is actually an extension of the program that we have called the Hampton Road Select. The Hampton Road Select is where we take a group of youth age
Okay.
5 to 18, and we help them build a business. We help from the ground up. So we help them with their LLC. We help them with any state corporation, those types of things that they need. But then we also help them develop their product. We help them market, websites, and actually get that product out there and making money. So then the Kid Expo, yes. So then the Kid Expo is, you do hard work and you get it all ready for the presentation, and then you have to present it, right? And so the Kid Expo would be them presenting, and they would be presenting their product and selling their product along other entrepreneurs, right?
So it's kind of like, the science fair we had in high school or in middle school or elementary school, where I built the volcano, but now I'm going to not only build the volcano, but I'm going to sell it.
Absolutely. Okay. You want to get the prize, right? And so we want to be able to sell it to, outside people and let them understand our concept and buy into what we're doing.
Okay. Good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The entrepreneurial piece, where'd that come from?
Well, like I said, trying to help families get out of poverty. And I think, we skip over a lot when, we're talking about statistics and those types of things. We kind of skip over the realities. And the reality is that the federal poverty line is $12,760 a year. That's the federal poverty line.
Mm-hmm.
For a person of one, right? Just one person in the home at $7.25 an hour, they're making a little over $13,000, right? So that doesn't allow them to qualify for any government type assistance, right? However, rents are high. You got to have a car. You have to have it insured. You have to pay taxes, food, lights, all of these things, not to mention if you have any student loans or any student debt. It's really, really hard. And you may be the only person in the home, but what if you're paying child support, or what if you're paying other type of debts, right? So it's not a reality to live off of $7.25 an hour. It's just not. And so we have to have other streams of income that's going to allow us to flourish and to get out of the situations that we're in. And so that's kind of how that came along, is to help. And we decided that we wanted to start with the youth. So all of my children are actually entrepreneurs. I have 3 children. I have 5, I have 13, and a 21-year-old. And my 21-year-old is...
You have a 21-year-old?
Yes, I have a 21-year-old.
Okay. Oh, okay. You had your 21-year-old when you were 3, right?
So my 21-year-old, she's a poet, right? She has a book out. She's a poet. My 13-year-old is also an author. She's the vigilante of Portsmouth.
13-year-old. Boy, Melody don't crack, boy.
My 5-year-old is also, well, he's 6 now. He started when he was 5, but he's an author. He has a book out called Trucks That Help. And he also has a YouTube channel, and he does videos around the community, trying to help younger kids like himself understand things like farming and CPR and those types of things. So in that, we have learned so much about getting the youth to understand that working for themselves, learning how so much goes into entrepreneurship. Learning to work for yourself, time management, um, being what's the word I'm looking for? Being a confident, those types of things. All of those things go into entrepreneurship. Learning how to your finances, those things, and our kids, my kids are able to do that through their journey of entrepreneurship. So it's been a wonderful journey. I love it. They love it. And I want other kids to be able to experience that as well.
Sounds a bit more in depth than just setting up a lemonade stand out there on the corner. These are business.
But it can be just as fun. Just as fun.
Fun like trips to resorts. And my parents recently took a trip to Massanutten. That fine resort in Virginia required a suite car with excellent air conditioning. They took my 2017 Jetta. They enjoyed themselves. It was a fine trip and a great stay, and a fine trip back to the wet and rainy, floody Virginia Beach. A good, safe vacation cruiser like my Jetta can be gotten at Southern Volkswagen in Chesapeake. Go there, speak with Cynthia Rawlings and Charlie Roy. Find and get yourself one of those special cars for a special couple. Which reminds me, Miss Bennett, you're also a renowned dating coach. You're a relationship coach and creator of Dating Mechanics University. Speak on your experience on this and how it helped 5-7 couples.
I don't know about renowned, but I've been doing this for quite some time. I've been a relationship coach since 2008. And with that, it goes over into the foundation as well, because one of our missions in the foundation is to bring families back together, to bring fathers back in the home, and how important it is to have that foundation and that structure. And so as a relationship coach, I help couples either stay together, or I help parents become good parents, functional parents, even if they're not in the home.
Okay, our second business highlight that we're gonna go ahead and shout out this evening for all our Virginia Beach locals that know about Rick's Cafe. Guess what? Rick's is open. Okay, it's back open again. Unfortunately, it's not open 24 hours like it was before. But if you stop in from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m., stop in and see Justine or Amanda and tell them that Jose and the Beach Brothers sent you. You're in for a great meal, outstanding service, and you won't be let down. Promise you have a great time. Now for my next question. 2020 was a banner year for markets until COVID. Even without COVID, millions of families were not feeling that prosperity like we'd like to see. And now with Hampton Roads and the world hunkering down, what main issue or issues are families facing?
First of all, I want to say Rick's has like the bomb cheesecake. That's where you want to. They have the bomb cheesecake. Okay, but back to your question. So I'm finding that more businesses are coming up because of the pandemic, right? I'm seeing all types of online businesses, from hair products to, especially the masks and, those kinds of things. People are really getting on board with the whole entrepreneurial thing, right? They're really trying to help themselves, even with things like, your food services where you're picking up food and you're dropping it off to, different types of services. People are really going in. Customer service jobs, over the phone where they get to stay at home. They're really going in for themselves. And, to those people, I say bravo, because they've made a situation that has not been, the most comfortable for us during this time. And they're making it and they're doing it. So bravo to them. But, being able to, of course, money is one really big issue within families. I always say to any of my couples, communication is really one of the things that we're missing in all relationships. And people think it's, it's all about the money, it's all about cheating or all of that. It's not really those things. It's the conversations that we're having or not having about those things. And so that's what I wanted to bring to urban communities, really having the conversation about poverty, really getting down and dirty about that conversation, and really having them understand by giving them the tools and resources to then bring themselves out. So not giving them a handout, but giving them
Right.
a
Exactly.
yeah,
Helping hand.
a helping hand, right?
Interesting. You're not giving them a hand out. It's a hand up.
I like
Interesting.
that.
Interesting. How effective is that during these times that we're dealing with in this COVID environment? Will a hand up suffice?
I think this is one of the best times to learn something new. This is one of the best times to hunker down and, turn off the tube and say, what can I learn that's going to better help my future? What can I do at this time in my life? What have I always wanted to do? Like I said, there are so many people that are building these new businesses, and it's sparking from what they feel is their passion or what they feel is their purpose, and they're taking that opportunity and saying, now is the time. And that's what I would say to anyone who wants to venture off and do something. Now is the time. We have Google, we have YouTube, we have so many resources out there that you don't have to pay for. So
Right.
be able to get out there and learn all that you can. And then when people see that you are trying, there's organizations like myself that come along and say, hey, is this what you're doing? Let me help you do that.
I like that. You said now is the time. Now is the time. Well, now is the time to do a little shout out to one of our other sponsors. All right, so ladies, IamWeTheLead.com does great microblading. They're Hampton Roads legend. You can see the before and after pictures. So Alasha, looks like your eyes are on fleek already. But if your eyes are not on fleek, ladies, then IamLeaderWeed.com. She's a beautiful person, and she'll make sure that you look as beautiful as she does. Speaking of beautiful, I want to recognize a beautiful company, Tally and Twine. It's time for you to purchase a high-quality watch from Tally and Twine. They have men's watches, they have women's watches. So it's time for everyone to get a Tally and Twine watch. Now, Alasha, if you don't have one, then you might want to go ahead and support a Virginian business. They're American made, they're Virginian made, and they're P-Town made. So salute to P-Town.
All right,
Speaking of P-Town, I used to, what you know about P-Town, girl?
When I first came to Virginia, 1999, it's been a long time. Yeah, it's been a while. Been in Virginia for a while now.
Good stuff. All right. Well, speaking of your family moving to Portsmouth and coming to the Hampton Roads area, our families right now, Hampton Roads families are, they're dealing with a lot. And now we're starting to talk about plans of actions. So we've had some time together because of the COVID experience. How do we really bring our families together? Because some of us have been struggling together. Some of us have been in the same house, but we haven't been together. And now our community is starting to, slowly come out and go to social gatherings on a limited basis. What are your thoughts on how we really bring our families together?
Well, hopefully, during this time of COVID, because we were in close quarters, people were able to, bond with one another, trust one another more, talk about maybe issues or things that they hadn't before. But, being that in that confined space kind of caused them to do that. Hopefully they have a new perspective or an understanding of the person that they're with or living with. And that doesn't have to mean a romantic relationship of husband and wife. That can mean a brother and sister. That can mean cousins or aunties or grandparents.
Right.
And really being able to understand where that person is coming from, right? So that you all can work together. The whole thing is working together. If we don't work together as a family, as a community, we've lost sight of community. And if we can get back to that, I mean, we can turn communities around if we get back to community.
And so if somebody's having challenges bringing their family back together, that's an opportunity where they should reach out to organizations like the Bennett Center.
Absolutely. And we do have coaching for families who really are struggling and they really would like to work together, but they have some issues that they're dealing with. We can always get you in contact with counselors, but as a relationship coach, I can also do that as well. And helping those families really come together. What do we need to do to love on one another and to have peace within the family?
Okay. I guess they can call the Bennett Center.
Absolutely.
I'd also like to take a second or two to shout out former Beach Brothers Show guest, Cazelle Devon, who's watching and asking questions and making comments. So it's always great for her to be watching as well. I also want to jump in by stating that our economy is jam-packed with businesses providing new goods and services, and many new ones join every year into the fray. As you develop new entrepreneurs, can you touch on just how important entrepreneurship is regarding closing the wealth gap for impoverished people?
Wow, absolutely. Especially when you're building a business within the community, being able to keep the dollars in that community is huge. It's huge, right? We talk about the Black community in particular and how the dollar only stays in that community seconds versus other ethnicities. So we want to be able to build businesses in our neighborhood, and we want to keep that dollar circulating in our neighborhood. And then we want to be able to uplift the community and invest that money. And then that way we can bring more things to that community that's going to benefit the community.
Okay. All right, Alasha, my next question. How did you begin to develop your own businesses? And has there been hurdles along the way? A lot of hurdles, big hurdles.
I was about to say that question answers itself.
Yes, it does.
Sometimes you start business, you stop business, you go bankrupt in business, then you have to build it all back up again. So,
Mhm.
there's many hurdles in business. You start different businesses, those types of things. But we just definitely want to remember that, we don't sleep until, our last breath. I always let people know you don't sleep until
Exactly.
your last breath. And so you keep going and you keep trying. So even though you're having those hurdles and difficulties, get help. A lot of times, our businesses fail because we won't accept any help or we're not asking for any help. And we're thinking we're doing the right thing. And, we're trying to reinvent the wheel. Don't reinvent the wheel. Business is business. It works. And all
Exactly.
same across the board. No need to reinvent the wheel. Do what's working. As far as that is concerned, do what works. But I've been an entrepreneur, I would say, since I was about 17 years old. I started out in wanting to be in corporate America and then found out that that wasn't for me. I started out very young. At 16 years old, I was actually working for the local government. And then I went on to work for Pacific Bell, the big, telephone company. So
Yeah, remember them.
exactly, you
Yep.
remember that.
Remember
So,
them.
so I started out in the corporate world. I've never worked at a McDonald's or a Burger King. I've never worked at a fast food joint.
Oh, you
Right.
privileged, girl. You privileged.
You know what?
Privilege.
On
You
behalf
got a
of
pretty smile,
myself,
pretty teeth, but you never worked fast food. Get out of here.
on behalf of myself and the Beach Brothers, I applaud everything, your whole mindset, how you have your
Forget that,
kids
man. Forget
already entrepreneurs. I mean, that's awesome. That was dirty. That was dirty there. But yeah, I mean that's awesome. All three of your kids already entrepreneurs. That's awesome. That speaks
And
volumes.
so we're trying to get more. And so, because of COVID, we were supposed to have our Kid Expo in May.
Right.
Because of
Right.
COVID, of course, we had to postpone that. So it's May 29th of 2021. And we're going to, in October, we open again to start helping other young entrepreneurs. So
Oh,
we're looking for 50 in total. And you can go to thekidexpo.com, THEKIDEXPO.com, and fill out the form, and the form will be opening soon, October 1st. But seeing the entrepreneurs that we have there, we have doggy treats and we have slime, and we have a couple of things up there that you can see that we're helping, young folk go ahead and start their businesses and be successful.
All right, I love that entrepreneurial spirit. Hey, I want to remind everyone you're watching the Beach Brothers show, where we keep it very beachy. And the Beach Brothers are three brothers who live in the beach, and we love Virginia business and politics. We have Conrad Chesviner, who's actually running for a city council seat in Virginia Beach. Believe that. My good brother Jose Cruz is our business beast. So if you're interested in having your business highlighted, and you've seen him highlight a couple of businesses, we're going to highlight some more as well. Then get in contact with good brother Jose. I'm the person that produces the Beach Brothers show. So get in contact with Conrad if you want to get on the show. And if you want to have your business highlighted, like we do with Tally and Twine, it's time for you to have a high quality watch from a Virginian company, an American company, Tally and Twine. Also want to salute our good brothers and sisters at Southern Volkswagen Greenbrier. They have the best car options and the best financing, hands down. Conrad is a really good example of that. He drives one of their vehicles, all right? And also want to salute IamWeTheLead.com. You can get your eyebrows on fleek, and a little bit about my services as well. And I'm bringing this up because of this concept of entrepreneurialism. You said that you're teaching people and teaching children to become entrepreneurs, right? So what types of things should parents do to educate their children into becoming entrepreneurs the way that you've done with your children?
The best thing to do is let your children explore. Um, get them to understand what it is they like about themselves, what it is that they're interested in and want to do, and propel them. Give them hope that they can rule the world, right? They can rule the world, so they can do whatever it is they like. Foster those things. So ask them, what is it that you would like to do? If they like gardening, if they like farming, if they like, little insects, take them to those places that would allow them to then see if that's what they like to do, right? There are
Right.
local farms that would love, for children to come and, harvest or learn about it. There's local authors that would love to sit with your children and, ask them what they would like to do and if they like to write stories and those types of things. Just, my daughter, my 13-year-old, she started writing stories, and, she would say, mommy, read my story, look at my story. And then that's how she became the vigilante of Portsmouth. That's how she started writing those chapters in those books, because I was like, hey, what would you like to do with this?
Right.
Would you like other people to read it? Would you like to, and so that kind of propelled her into that.
Interesting.
I would want to touch on a little bit. You mentioned that the corporate world wasn't necessarily for you, but you started out wanting to probably venture out into that, but you have started your own LLCs. So what is the difference between entering into the corporate world, finding out it's not for you, and then realizing that you can just be your own?
And there's nothing wrong with the corporate world. We need corporate people as well. We need people to run companies. We need people to run the businesses. They always say you need worker bees, right? That's what we call them. We need worker bees. Every business needs worker bees. Even as an entrepreneur, if you're going to expand your business, you're going to need those who are going to be willing to come and work for you or work under you for some time. But having your own, and I want to be able to, a lot of people say, well, I don't want to be an entrepreneur, or entrepreneur is not the only thing. It really isn't. You can be in corporate and be an entrepreneur too. That's the wonderful thing about being an entrepreneur, right? It's not either or, it's an addition to, there are a lot of people that, sell other products, right? Besides working for corporate America or working for someone else. So entrepreneurship is just a little bit of freedom. It's another source of income. So when you hear the big wigs talk about, the big people, talk about you should have 7 streams of income, your corporate job could be one income. Your, what you're doing for entrepreneurship can be one income. Stocks can be another income. There's multiple things. We're not one dimensional, right? There are many things that we can do, and especially to bring in income. So, and get us to another level. So entrepreneurship is not just, it's one way. It's one way. It's not the only way.
I was once told communication is the key to any ship, friendship, partnership, relationship.
Absolutely. I concur. Absolutely.
What are some things that we can do to have better communication then, if communication is the key to any show?
That's a good question. Sometimes it's as simple as
You telling me to be quiet. You telling me to be quiet.
really.
Conrad, you better get it. You better get it, Conrad.
Sometimes it really is that simple. And just taking the time to really quiet yourself and to listen, willing to listen to what the other person on the other end is really trying to tell you. We talked about empathy earlier. Really, trying to put yourself in that person's shoes, not being defensive, not feeling like they're blaming you, even if they say you, right? But being able to get past that and say, what is really going on here? What is my partner feeling? Or what is my friend feeling? Or what is my coworker feeling? Or my boss feeling? What are they trying to convey to me? That what are they trying to get out? And just not being so feeling personally attacked, but just taking the time to just sit and say, okay, I hear you. I'm listening. What is it that you want to tell me?
All right. Well, we want to tell you that we thank you for being a part of the Beach Brothers show. I know I want to say that. What would you want to say, Conrad?
Well, before you head on away, and again, I thank you for coming on tonight. I just want to say, if you have any final tips you might have a viewer as to maybe they have their idea for the business they want to start, what might be the first 1 or 2 things they might need to do to make it official that they're a business?
Well, to make it official, you definitely want to register your business. So you want to get your LLC in Virginia. If you go to the SEC website, you can do it in 5 minutes. I promise you. 5 minutes, $100, and you will have your name registered, so that no one would, take your name from you. But one of the first things that I would probably do is to really sit down and understand your passion and your motive for wanting to open up this business. Money can't drive you. It has to be something more. It has to be something at your core in order for the business to last and to flourish, and to be there for you.
That's awesome. You know what? And obviously, as Seiko likes to refer to me as the business bully, I do want to stay in contact with you, so get updates on that Kids Expo, so we can follow along with you and see how that turns out. I'm really interested in seeing how things turn out and how these young entrepreneurs, what's going on in their minds and what they're going to come out with next.
Absolutely, and we're always looking for mentors and speakers to come and speak to our youth, and kind of guide them on what they can be doing or what they should be doing next. We're always looking for volunteers for people who are knowledgeable,
Right.
that can help them along.
It's kind of interesting. You've made a business out of relationship building. You've made money. You've made an income off of relationships, kind of like the movie Hitch. And there's a lot of just a lot of pretty. All right. There's a lot of people like Kevin Samuels. There's a lot of this red pill talk that's going around. The business is a YouTube channel that talks about relationships. There seem to be a lot of people who are profiting by giving relationship advice. How crowded is that space? What's that space like? Because it looks like you've done an excellent job being profitable in that space.
Well, we have to remember that even though you don't hear someone's name, does it mean that they're not, being profitable, or that they're not helping people, or they're not trying to make a name for themselves. It's hard to get push through that, be that 1% that everybody sees.
Right.
But there are people out here that other relationship coaches are doing some really, really wonderful things, and helping families and individuals. And relationships don't go away. You have relationships are with everyone who you come in contact with, and relationships are here to grow us. So, like I said before, until you close your eyes, you're always learning and you're always growing. And so there's always room and the opportunity, to have someone come alongside of you, such as a coach, and to help you navigate through those different feelings and emotions, and where you want to be in life.
Okay, good stuff. Good stuff. All right. Wow, I'm impressed.
So am I. So am I.
I'm impressed. I'm impressed. Well, you've been checking out the Beach Brothers show. One of our happy relationship guy Beach Brothers is our good brother Conrad, who wants to have a stronger relationship with the city of Virginia Beach. Um, Conrad, any words, man? Any words?
Well, in closing out tonight, I want to bring up the concept of felonies. They're in the news now, and felonies typically are any offense resulting in a prison sentence of 1 year or longer. They're crimes involving an element of violence that are considered particularly harmful to society. The General Assembly special session, which started today, has a bill reducing assault on a police officer down to a misdemeanor. Senator Scott Surville, the chief sponsor of the assault and battery bill, said it eliminates the mandatory minimum sentence of 6 months in jail and changes the law so a felony can only be brought if an officer has a visible physical injury. Surville said he's also considering adding provisions requiring another officer, not the arresting officer, investigate the circumstances and that a prosecutor approve the charge. Now, some, like WNIS's Tony McCreaney this very morning, reflexively might ask, "Are you kidding me?" when they hear about assaulting a police officer being reduced down to a misdemeanor. But I want to let you know why that's important. Local activist and friend of the Beach Brothers show, R.J. Brothers, was taking part in a protest from Lansdowne Commons toward the Virginia Beach Municipal Center. Several uniformed officers were present. Some were on the roadway in front of the marchers. One placed himself in front of RJ as he was phone recording, and RJ tried to walk around the officer. The officer stepped in front again, creating contact with RJ. It was verbally labeled assault on a police officer, and they then arrested RJ. Officers know that they have the legal apparatus behind them. This gives them confidence to step in front of a protester, initiate contact, and book a felony charge against the protester. It weaponizes the felony charge. Hence why Senator Surville has cause to propose reform. And reform is also needed on another felony too, specifically on damaging Confederate monuments. On June 10th, the Portsmouth Confederate Monument, which was erected only 11 years after the Civil War ended, on the site of a slave punishing spot, was protested and spray painted and damaged. Yesterday, State Senator Louise Lucas, Portsmouth School Board member Lakeisha Clue Atkinson, NAACP leaders James Boyd, Louis Gibbs, Lakeisha Hicks were all charged with felonies resulting from damage of the monument in excess of $1,000. These charges are a weapon against important police reform advocates who are protesting symbols that no government, be it Portsmouth or state of Virginia or the United States, has any business defending with the force of law. To legally protect the Confederacy in any way is just unjust. And as we know, one has a moral responsibility to disobey unjust laws. I'm Conrad Chesbrenner, candidate for Rose Hall City Council seat in Virginia Beach, and I'm in solidarity with RJ Brothers, Senator Lucas, Portsmouth School Board member Clue Atkinson, and local NAACP leaders James Boyd, Louis Gibbs, and Lakeisha Hicks. Vote for me and support them. Thank you, and thank you for watching tonight.
Wow. All right, salute that. Salute that. Want to remind everyone that this is the Beach Brothers Show. The Beach Brothers Show, all three of us live in Virginia Beach, Virginia, and we love Virginia and its business and politics. Conrad, as you know, is running for Virginia Beach City Council, one of the Rose Hall seats. Our business bully is Jose Cruz. So get your financial house in order. He works with Bankers Life. He helps people get their financial house in order. And he's also the contact if you're interested in having your business featured on the Beach Brothers Show. I'm Seiko Varner, and my consulting company produces the Beach Brothers Show. I want to shout out again Tally and Twine, another great company here in the Hampton Roads area. It's time for you to have a high-quality watch built in Virginia, made in America. Salute P-Town. It's time to get a high-quality watch from Tally and Twine, all right? Also, we want to say our good friends at Southern Volkswagen Greenbrier have a deal waiting for you. They want to put you in the driver's seat, give you the keys so you can drive off into a beautiful future. And you can do that by spending some time with them. IamLeaderWe.com. You look as beautiful as she does. Your eyebrows can be on fleek, as they say. I'm Seiko Varner. I do credit fixes, tax resolutions, and I lend private money. So real estate investors, if your bank says no, contact Seiko. And once again, our good brother Conrad is running for VB City Council. He was recently recommended by the Virginia Beach Democrats. So salute that. Today we've had on our good friend of the show, Alasha Bennett, founder of the Bennett Center. Any last words, Alasha?
I just want to just bring hope to those of us in Hampton Roads. You know, we're experiencing this pandemic, and just, you know, be there for one another, do what you can for others, and just be a light. Continue to be a light for others.
All right, Jose, last words, good brother, last words.
Alasha, thank you for being on the show with us. We appreciate your time. Thanks to our viewers. Keep coming watching the show. I mean, it was awesome time was had. And salute to her three entrepreneurs as well.
Yeah, salute that. Hip hop salute.
Oh yeah.
Conrad, last words.
Thank you all for tuning in, listening, and watching to a great guest and a great show. And as always, I want you guys to keep it beachy, VB1.
All right, VB1, keep it beachy. I say power to the protesters. Keep it beachy.